Greetings, gamers! My name is D-Vang and welcome back to Shadows of Brimstone Apple Turnover Gang Town episode. Previous episode, we were doing mission number 2 of the Crimson Hand mission pack, and it was a nasty one. We were captured. The gang was captured without any of their equipment, and they had to use fists to punch and fight their way out to the armory that had their gear and then flee the mines. We had to do that facing continued summoned enemies as well as only having our fists and absolutely no equipment and no bandages and no anything to do anything with. It was rough, to say the least, to put it mildly. And so we failed because the darkness caught up to us. Oh yes, that is one way to lose. And you start pretty close to the darkness. And we did, and you have an 8+ on the track for holding back the darkness. And yeah, so the darkness caught up to us, caught up to the gang, and we lost. And the failure for losing that mission is because we failed before we hit the armory. We get our items and token back at the end of the adventure, but we roll a d6 with no grit for each item and token. On a 1 or 2, it is lost. So, if you are a patron, I put a video up that has rolling for each individual item. And kind of talking about it and explaining what the item was and thoughts and stuff to speed things up. That is in a separate video for patrons. So if you are not a patron and you are interested in seeing that, and that there will be no charge for patrons on that. I'm just kind of giving that as a freebie because it's pretty short. So go to my Patreon page and pledge a small amount, even if it's just $1. And then you have access to it, and I would be greatly appreciative of that. For anyone who does not wish to do that, that is okay too. I'm going to give you a quick recap of what was lost. It actually went pretty well, better than I expected, considering I have a 1/3 chance of losing all of our items. So we started with Bechamel because she has the lucky hat, which gives once per adventure reroll any 1 die. Remember, we can't use grit to reroll any of these. She did her. She rolled hers. She lost a bandage and she lost her starting pistol, but she managed to keep everything else. And she had six other items: her adventure gear, her breaching gun, etc. So that actually went really well. Then we ran through Pete, and Pete again did pretty well. He lost his eagle feather. He lost his tattered duster, which was a bit of a pain. He lost the Mark of the Void, which we rarely use. He also lost his lasso and a whiskey. So we will need to repurchase the lasso. But overall, it was not a horrible set of rolls there. Did not actually have to use the hat for the reroll. And then on to Doc. Doc has a huge number of items. Not that the majority of them. Well, some of them actually do weigh. And actually, now that I'm looking at it, some of this actually might be, I didn't really use a lot of it. Some of them might have had to get transferred to Pete. But this is what we rolled for anyway. So Doc managed to keep the Tools of Science and the Feather Hatchet and the Void Lantern. We rolled all those. He did lose his Totem of Danar, which we used the ring, or the hat, the lucky hat, to try to reroll and failed again. So this is gone. He did lose the Holy Charm, which, if I had realized, I might have paid more attention, is discard to reroll any die, adding +1 to the roll. So that's, 1 use lucky hat bonus for this roll, but At the point I realized that, we are already 3/4 of the way through everything. He did lose his dusty poncho, and he lost his gambler's deck that we had purchased in town. So we'll need to try to repurchase that if possible. But we lost those other things. He also lost 3 bandages and a whiskey for his items that were lost. So that is kind of caught up to where we are. We do need to do some end effects for rolling at the end of the adventure for Darkstone and whatnot. Bechamel has 1 icon for her breaching gun. So she does take a corruption hit. She succeeds in preventing it, though. Doc has 2, 3, 4 from items. He's got the Tools of Science, the Feathered Hatchet, the Void Lantern. He takes 2 corruption hits. And he defends both of them. So he takes nothing. And then on to Pete. So Pete has, at this point, he has the Void Catcher and the Fallen Gunfighter's Pistol. So, yep. And that is all he has left. So he's got 2 dice. He does take 2 hits. And he takes 2 more points of corruption. That puts him up to 4. And then his ribbon lets him remove 1. So he is down, he is at 3 corruption, so we'll need to get rid of that corruption. Bechamel still has 1 point of corruption that we did not get rid of last time in town. So there you have it. So that was kind of the end effects of the last episode. So let's go to town, shall we? Again, a large town. So we're going to roll 1 die for each person, see if we have an extra travel hazard. So Bechamel has an extra travel hazard. Doc does not. And Pete does not. Alright. So we have 1 extra travel hazard. Alright. Again, we will start with red being the first digit. See if we can get some ones that we have not seen before or not seen recently. 52 is bandits. Waylaid by bandits on the road. Dun dun dun. There we are. The bandits surround each hero individually. There are 5 bandits per hero, and each hero must roll a d6 to see how many of those bandits they defeat. For every bandit you defeat, gain 10 experience. For each of your 5 bandits you do not defeat, lose $25. 1 Darkstone or 1 gear or artifact of your choice. Alright, so we'll potentially lose money. Alright, we'll start with Bechamel. 5, so she managed to defeat 5 of the bandits. So she is good. Doc gets rid of 6. And then Pete. Pete only gets rid of 2. You know what? He is going to use his grit to re-roll. And he's going to get rid of 3. And then that means then that he has to get rid of 50 gold. 25 per. Alright. That was Bechamel's first one. Bechamel's second one is a 14. A 14 is a shooting star. Not sure we've seen this one before. Blazing across the night sky, a burning trail of a shooting star catches your eye. A good omen, perhaps. The hero that rolled this result may make a lore 6+ S if passed, recover D3 grit. Well, unfortunately, Doc's... Oh, actually, wait, this was Bechamel's second one, wasn't it? Alright, so she has a lore of 3. And that is a lore of 6+. So she gets to recover a D3 grit. So she gets... well, she's only got room for 1, but that gets her 1, and that gets her a fortune. Since she ended with only 1 fortune. Perfect. Cool. Alright, on to Doc. And Doc's first is a 35. What do you have for his travel hazard? We have the ruined fort. You come across the smoking ruins of a military fort. Looks as though it was besieged and overrun sometime in the last few days. Your heart sinks. Each hero loses 1 grit. If you do not have a grit to lose, instead take D3 sanity damage, ignoring willpower. Do I want to cancel that? Remember, Pete can spend a grit to try to cancel it. And oh, but you know what? He has no grit because he already spent a grit. So he can't just cancel it. And so he's going to take sanity damage. Wait, we had something that lets us do something else for traveling the telescope. When traveling to town, you may cancel and reroll 1 result on the travel chart. You know what? Let's try to save the grit for everybody. Let's cancel and reroll that. A 13. 13 is dark dreams. Camping along the trail, your dreams are filled with dark visions of the future and impending dread. Each hero has to make a Spirit 6+ test. If passed, gain 10 experience and recover a grit. If failed, you take D6 sanity damage, ignoring willpower. That carry over to the next adventure. Well, it saves us the grit, but potentially gives us a bunch of sanity damage to go into the next adventure with. But that's okay. Spirit 6+ test. So Bechamel has a spirit of 1. She succeeds. Alright. Doc. Doc actually had a decent spirit. I believe it was a 4. Yep. 6+. He succeeds. And then Pete has a spirit of 1. Poor Pete. Oh! And he succeeds. What are the odds of that? Alright. Alright, so everybody recovers a grit. Pete's the only one who actually can take the grit. Everybody else is already at their max of grit. Alright, but that was Doc's one, so Pete's, this is the last travel hazard, is a 31, which is the March of the Lost Army. We saw that not too long ago. You hear thunders roar from up ahead and pull off to the side of the trail to take cover. Moments later, a massive army of the dead comes into view, marching in formation with tattered flags flying and a battery of hell cannons in tow. 1,000-strong lost army passes by with hate in their soulless black eye sockets. Each hero makes a luck 5+ test. If they fail, they're alerted, and the hero must make a run for it. The hero loses 1 item of your choice. You know, it's luck. I think I'm going to save the grit. I'm not going to cancel it. So, Bechamel has a luck of 5. Again, this is a 5+ luck test. She succeeds, barely. Alright, Doc only has a luck of 1. Oops, in the box would be nice. Fails. Bechamel's going to spend a fortune to try to adjust that 4 up. So she makes her luck test. Needs a single 5+. She did get 1. That puts it to a 5. So Doc has passed. And then Pete has a luck of 2. In the box, again, would be nice. Fails, gets another 4. Bechamel will spend her other fortune to adjust that up as well by 1. 5+. She succeeds. She gets her 1 5+. So, by the hair of their chinny chin chin, they scrape by. Awesome. Alright, so we come to town, which is nice. So what kind of town is it? It is a 5. It is a rail town. Alright, and as a reminder for the rail town, choo-choo, special rules. Many towns on the frontier are connected by a network of rail lines with trains bringing such supplies, fresh faces, and news from back east on a daily basis. So fresh applies at the start of every day in town. Each hero can draw a deer card that is a special deal they find offered from a street vendor. This card may be purchased by that hero for its listed value plus $100. No listed as 0. If not purchased, discard that gear card. Hustle and bustle. You draw 2 daily events, which can be unfortunate. And rail travel. When finished in town, you can take a train. So if rolling randomly for your next mission. Also, each hero can start the necessary adventure fully healed. Well, we didn't actually take any damage from that last thing, so we are good. Extra options. We can send a telegraph, so we can make a luck test. If passed, we receive a reply to sound stay, gain +1 permanent sanity, so once per hero. So that actually could be really good for Bechamel to try to do for one day. I can't rob the train, and so that is it. So, but she's got a pretty good luck. Actually, everybody's got, got at least like 1 die, right? So, guess let's see what's here in this here town. First one is a saloon. Yay, Bechamel can get us some money. Number 2 is a church. Okay, potential to get rid of Pete's corruption. The mutant quarter, not really going to be useful to this group right now. The street market. Okay, we have the blacksmith. Good. Get some darkstone bullets. The gambling hall. The sheriff's office. And the doctor's office. Right, alright. So, the big things that we need to do. Doctor's office for Pete to get rid of his corruption. Granted, it's going to be expensive to get rid of that 3 corruption. It's going to be 300, but it's much safer than going to the church. So that's, I think, where Pete is going to go. Doc needs to go get, or somebody, in fact, Bechamel can do it while she's in the saloon, needs to pick up a new set of gambling cards for Doc. So let's say Bechamel's going to go to the saloon. Pete was going to the doctor's office, not to the sheriff's office. And then last, I guess Doc will go to the blacksmith and pick up the bullets. So we're going to give him the 2 darkstone. Sorry, 4, yeah, 2 darkstone. And then at least 200 gold. I think it's 200. We'll give him 400 just in case. We did lose several bandages, so we could pick up a few more bandages as well. Pete has got a bunch of money, and then Bechamel's got some money to gamble with. The other question is, I do need to figure out how much the lasso is going to cost, and we also need to look at, I don't know if we have enough money to pick up weapons for Bechamel. We may have to wait one more adventure. We didn't really gain anything last time other than the Crimson Hand Robes. We ended up losing a bunch of stuff. So, well, some stuff. So, let's just say that yeah, let's just say that's probably what we're going to end up doing. So we've got the saloon, the doctor's office, and the blacksmith. And then we'll consider maybe getting some upgraded weapons for Bechamel. I think the gambling hall had those really fun looking ones that we're looking at. Now she doesn't have a spare pistol, so we'll have to see if we can afford both after we see what she gambles with. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, and we do need to draw for our daily events. We have 2 cards, so we do have to do that first as well. So our daily event. First one is the traveling tonic wagon. Rolling in a town, traveling tonic salesman opens up the sides of his cart to show his wares. So each hero can purchase up to 3 tonic tokens. I never do that. And then market prices down. All prices in town are minus $10 today. Nice. So let's start in the saloon with Bechamel. Let's see what she gets for her event. She gets a 9, which is aces and 8s. She's now +2 luck and +2 cunning during this location visit. Alright, so she's maxed out at 6. Awesome. So we're going to start by paying the... Ooh, she can't pay the 850 for the deck of cards yet. So she has to gamble first. So we'll start with the casual poker. So she spends $50, and it's a cunning 5+ test. She does have 2 grit. No fortune, but 2 grit. Okay. So she will go ahead. There's 2 successes. She will spend a grit to re-roll these. Ooh, nothing. All right. Well, she gained 50, which I guess is something. And that also means she gains an extra D3 times 50, so an extra 150. All right. And then second is Brimstone Craps. This is $100 skinny ante for a luck test, but she gets $100 for each one. She succeeds once. She will spend her last grit to re-roll the rest of these. So she broke even. Nice! That's exactly what we want. So she gained an extra $400. Perfect. So now she has enough to eke out the 850 to buy the gambler's deck back for Doc. Alright, and that was Bechamel. That is about all she can afford to do. Yeah, and somehow I don't think didn't realize the gambler's deck was that much. We're not going to be able to purchase her extra weapons because of that. Doc. So Doc is going to go to, or sorry, Pete is going to the doctor's office. Alright, so what happens at the doctor's office is a 6, so no event. Nothing special happens at the doctor's office. Alright, so he is simply going to pay $100 each, so $300 to get rid of the 3 corruption. And then he will spend and get 4 more bandages back. Actually 3, because he can only carry. I forgot to empty out his bags. But there you go. Alright. Well, and that's it for Pete. Last but not least is Doc at the blacksmith trying to pick up the bullets. So what happens at the blacksmith is an 8, so that is no event. No event there, so simply put, all Doc is going to do is he's going to pick up in his 200 each plus 1 Darkstone, so we spend the 2 Darkstone, he spends 400. Gets us 100 back. And that is what he's going to pick up. I don't think there's anything else that we can afford to buy. That was simply it. All right. And then, of course, obviously, sorry, we are minus $10 on each purchase. A little bit. That basically covers kind of their hotel fees. That's it. So let's see if there's a town event. There is not. And I think that's it. I mean, it might be useful to try to, send a telegraph with everybody for one day. I don't know if it's worth. I mean, we can't afford. In fact, actually, it costs $50 for it. So I am simply going to say we can't really afford it. We're down to. Well, I mean, we're down to like $500. So I mean, we're not broke. But with everything combined, we're down to right around $500. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything else we want to do. I think we're going to call it. It's going to be a quick. This was a slightly faster than I expected episode as far as doing stuff in town. But once I was kind of looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, we never really recovered the money that we spent for the Duelist gun belt with Pete. We were just starting to recover. We did spend, $840 for the Gambler's deck, which was the big majority of our, a big chunk of change. Bechamel did score, decent money, which got us up to like little over 500 with her second part of gambling, but still not quite enough. All right. So that's where we're going to leave it. We're going to go into the next adventure. Obviously, we have more missions in the Crimson Hand mission pack. I'm not sure how many other missions. Looks like there's a total of 4 missions. So we have 2 more missions left. In the Order of the Crimson Hand mission book, so that will be interesting. Hopefully they're not as horrible and dangerous as the last one. Hopefully we get to keep our stuff. And, it actually was very close, and we were very lucky on those rolls. We should have lost a lot more stuff if you consider the odds. We said 1/3 chance of losing all our stuff, and we lost maybe 1/5 of our items. So yeah. So we came out ahead, despite losing a couple nice pieces, but nothing too ruinous to the gang. So we came out ahead. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe if you enjoyed this. Feel free to leave comments, likes, dislikes. If there's anything I can do to improve this, make this more enjoyable for you, please let me know. I do have a Patreon page. If you are interested in helping support me and letting me come out with more videos for folks, I would appreciate that. There is a link down in the description. And, hit the like button on this video to show your support, and that is all appreciated. I thank everybody for their comments and support in the Facebook group. If you haven't seen that, there is a Great Shadows of Brimstone Facebook group, as well as Board Game Geek. But thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it, and I will see you next week. Bye.